familiar faces and some new ones. So yay! I think I've only met you on social media.
Totally, but I feel like we're best friends. Like I know everything about you. I know. I'm totally a stalker.
No worries. You stalk away. This is actually the Stalker 101 class. No, but kind of seriously. Just wait a minute. Okay, so it is 12:30, so I am just going to have us go ahead and get started. For those of you who have never met me in person, my name is Lizy Hoeffer. I have been a loan officer in the Valley for 16 years, and I actually created the content for this course 5 years ago when I got fired from my job. Yes, so when you get fired, you lose your database, your computer, all of your marketing emails, everything goes away, right, and you have to build from scratch. So the cool thing is that before I got fired, I closed 167 transactions. I was considered a top producer. And literally 2 months after I started using this process, I went from closing 10 to 13 deals a month to closing over 27. Now I close around 80 every single month. So I promise you what I teach you here is very, very powerful. The only difference maker though is, will you actually take action? Okay, so it's all simple stuff, right? The crappy thing about hard work is it's hard, not complicated. Okay, so did any of you guys have any questions? Am I credible to teach you this class? Yes, you all listen to me? Okay, yay, so let's get started. So this is Extreme Database. Okay, so what you'll learn from this class is a little bit weird, okay, but it all works. Okay, so a couple of things I wanted to bring to your attention. Everyone knows that they need a database of people that know and like them. Very few people will do it because you have mental barriers of not wanting to look dumb in front of your friends. Okay, like everyone's afraid of coming off as salesy or spammy and afraid of being judged. Just so you guys know right now, that's all in your head. And if you find out that your best friend's mother or your cousin or your aunt buys from somebody else, the anger and the disappointment that you'll have will be so much greater than that fear of having them laugh at you. Okay? In my entire 16-year career, I have never had one person that asked directly for help turn me down. I have also never turned someone down. Okay? So just so that you can reframe that story in your mind, you are 100% in sales. You sell houses. Your job is to provide value, right? So when we're talking about the difference between sounding salesy and providing value, it's how you answer people's internal questions. You all sell real estate, right? So everybody sells houses, right? They either show houses, they list houses. Your product is houses, right? Now, people will buy homes, though, for a variety of different reasons, right? They want security for their family, right? They want to make a good real estate investment. They hate the man. They want to own their land, right? People have different internal questions, but it's up to you to figure out how you provide value that answers to that. So just first and foremost, first disclosure, I actually help majority first-time homebuyers. So most of my marketing is geared towards first-time homebuyers and an entrepreneurial real estate agent. So people who want to build a business selling real estate, okay? Those are my first two clients. Every message, every newsletter, every Facebook post, every Instagram thing, every video I do solves the problem of those two people, okay? So I'm just constantly solving. So first-time homebuyers, they don't understand the process and they don't have a lot of money. Okay, entrepreneurial real estate agents wants business and marketing advice. Okay, so long as I communicate under those two contexts and I'm consistently providing value, you will never sound spammy or salesy. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So according to the National Association of Real Estate Agents, the typical real estate agent earns 20% of their business from repeat clients and 20% from referrals from past clients and customers, okay? So that is 40% of their business came from people that had done business with them and people that just were referred by people that did business with them, okay? If they were in the business 16 years or more, that increase is about 2%, right? And 21% came from but it just increased by 2%, okay? Now, what I find that most real estate agents will do is that because there's such a big apprehension to communicating with people that know and like them, they'll wait till they have enough clients and then they'll like send some sort of apology letter for never communicating with them and then try to get only referrals from them. Okay? Right? So I will tell you that also works, but let's just get a head start. I'm going to show you how and who to pick from your database. Okay? Right? So first thing I did when I got fired from my job is that I just told everyone I got fired from my job. Okay? Like I took out a Facebook post, no joke, said, hey guys, I don't know if you heard the news, but I recently got fired from my job. It was one of the most humiliating things that has ever happened to me. If you know me, you know I've always been like a gold star overachiever, and so this is quite possibly the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Here are a couple of really important lessons that I learned from this. One, people have to like you at work, right? You cannot be a work terrorist. Okay, I was a work terrorist because I care so much about great customer service, right? I never want to let you down, so much so that I beat the people up that help me, okay? I will never do that again. I want to run a company that's based on core values, that's based on great customer service, but that is led with people who love their jobs and love me and love you, right? Now, second thing I know is that the only way for me to make it through this is if I have the love and support of people that care about me. And if you're willing to give me a second shot at this, I promise I will not let you down. Okay? That was what my message said. Here's my new phone number, or I had the same phone number. Here's my same phone number. Here's my new company. Here's my new email address. Right? We're in business starting Monday. Right? So this is what happened. I put this post out on Facebook because the only thing that I had going for me was my cell phone and my Facebook account. Okay? Now, what's cool is everybody loves an underdog. In marketing, if you can present yourself as the guide and or the person that people want to help, right? Right? The damsel in distress, you win. Okay? Your clients have to see themselves as the hero. Right? So people love the fact that I was at my lowest, right? Probably especially because I think I was a little bit of one of those like, oh, I'm winning kind of people. So it was awesome to see me down. True story, guys. I misspelled Mississippi in the 5th grade and like my entire class erupted. They were so pumped. I'm very competitive, so I learned to tone that down at 10. Okay, so what happens is, right, so I have given now every single person who knows me, right, a reason to care about my story, right? If they help me, they're going to be a part of, like, the biggest comeback, right? And so I started really telling that story. What was amazing is that post went viral. So talk about having the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you get liked by, like, 400 to 500 people, right? That's what happened, right? And this is back in the time where, like, 10 likes was like a really big deal. I mean, the whole thing just went like wildfire. And I was like, okay, well now everyone knows my big secret. Right? And then when I saw that it got a lot of traction and people were like, you got this, we're behind you, I then sponsored an ad for my long lost clients and sent the same message around. Okay? Now, this is what's known as a letter of the heart. Okay? So if this is something that you have yet to do in your career, right? I don't care if you're brand new to real estate. I don't think if you've been doing it for 16 plus years. This is probably your very first actionable step when it comes to getting your name out and your story, okay? So first question you have to ask is, why are you doing this? Okay? And that basically comes down to time, money, or stress, okay? So you're either somebody that wanted freedom, somebody that grew up from humble beginnings and wanted to change their future. You're somebody who like felt taken advantage of in a real estate transaction, or you had so much fun looking at properties. Like there's something about it, but it's time, money, or stress. Okay? And you are either going to make the process super easy for people or super fun. Okay? I'm an easy person, right? Not that much fun here. But you will want to make sure that that's how you communicate it to people, okay? So, first thing you'll need after like deciding that you're going to tell your story is a place to put all of your contacts. Do you guys have a place to put all your contacts? Okay, that is not enough hands, okay? So write this down. Place to put my contacts. Now, that can be in a variety of things. For the longest time, I actually just used a Google Suite, right? I used contacts in Google. And Google's amazing, guys, because it has so many add-ons. It's for free. You can send out 5,000 emails. I mean, the thing is amazing, right? It has a boomerang feature to remind you of things that you need to pay attention to. So honestly, you can do quite a bit with just a Google account. But things that you'll want to check, you will want to make sure that you have people's full names, their birthdays, their occupation, their email address, their phone number, and if you can get a physical address. And then you should also, right now, because it's very, very important, write down what social media platforms they use. Okay? So again, that's their name, their number, their email address, their date of birth. If you can get their physical location, their occupation, and then what social network they're part of. Okay? You will need about 300 people to have a really well-rounded database. Now, some of you are going to go, but I don't know 300 people. And I'm going to call bullshit, because we've all been alive for more than 18 years. And let me tell you, you probably know 3,000 people. Now, whether you know and like them well, right, that's a different story. But you at least know 3,000 people. The lowest amount of contacts I have ever seen in somebody's phone was 167, right? And that person cleaned out their phone, like you could tell, like they don't save contacts. So most of you will have more than 300 in your phone right now, okay? Now, you're gonna say the next thing was, well, what if they don't live in Phoenix, right? Like these are all the weird things. Well, what if I haven't talked to them, right? Here's the deal, guys. Phoenix is one of the hottest locations in the nation right now, right? It's the fastest growing. We have great employment, right? There's so much opportunity here, not to mention it's a beautiful weathered state, and lots of people relocate here from California, Chicago, North Dakota, Wyoming, you know, Wisconsin, Minnesota. I mean, like there's so many imports from here. It doesn't matter where they're from. It just matters that they know you do real estate. And also, can you send referrals outside of state? Does that pay you any money?
Yep.
Cool, right? So it behooves you to let everyone know that you're in real estate. Okay? Now, if you're brand new to real estate, you're going to double down on these other two lists. The minimum amount of contacts you should have in a database is 150. And guys, I'm telling you right now, that's the very minimum, right? You really need 300, okay? But essentially, you're going to want to break it into these categories. So, top client list, okay? Top influencers. And an influencer, guys, is somebody that you know and like, and they're in charge of the community of some kind. So PTA mom, head of a law firm, runs the church group, right? Like you can tell that the most popular mom, right? I mean, there are some people that you know have influence within a group of people. That's who you want to pay attention to. And then top 50 business contacts. So these are people in industries that can refer you business, right? So these are going to be your accountants, your recruiters, your HR people, your attorneys, right? I mean, there's so many different industries that can refer back to you when it comes to real estate, right? You just need to start collecting those people, okay? And honestly, I find that the easiest way to collect data on people is going through the Facebook list, right? When it's people's birthdays, you have 5 to 10 people every single day, right? That you can go through and be like, okay, what do they do? What's their birthday? Who are they married to? Where do they live? Shoot them a DM, right? I mean, there's so many actionable items with 5 to 10 people every single day, and it makes it manageable. Is 5 to 10 people manageable every day?
Easy.
Cool. I love you, girl.
I love you too.
Okay.
I don't even know you and I love you.
Good. Now, here's the deal about your list of people. They have to pass the gut test, okay? So if you get to their contact in your phone and your very initial reaction is, ugh, okay, delete them. Do not be a contact hoarder, because here's what happens in prospecting. Your brain builds up resistance. So if you go to person A and you're like, ugh, I don't want to call them. And you go to person B and you're like, ugh, I really don't want to call them. And you will stop. Like the third one, you're out. It's like 3 strikes, you're out. I promise you. Do not make it hard on yourself. Get rid of them. I don't care if they might buy a property from you in 5 years from now, okay? It's not worth it. Okay, I promise you the cost of being misaligned with people is double the cost it would pay you. I promise. So, if they do not pass the gut test, get rid of them. If you have to keep them because they're related to you, put the Z in front of their name and then make them go to the bottom. Okay, does that make sense?
That's good stuff. Yeah.
Okay, now, this is how I rank people. There's a variety of different versions of this. This is my own. I used to use somebody else's, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give you my secret stuff, okay? So, I rank people based on how likely they are to give me a referral, right? My entire communication process, my gifting process, everything is based on this structure, okay? So I have raving fans. So these are people, you mentioned the word home, and they're like, Lizy Hoeffer, right? They're so excited, right? If you go on my Facebook right now, there's a girl who like literally wrote me like world's best testimonial, right? Tells everyone in the world that I am a loan officer, right? She's amazing. That's a raving fan, right? They go online, they talk about you, they're overhearing somebody's conversation, and they just insert their opinion, okay? Then you have a promoter, right? And a promoter is somebody that if they know somebody needs something, right? Like I'm looking for a good real estate agent. They're like Heidi, right? That's somebody. Now, if you want to test who the promoter and raving fans are in your database already, post for a need on Facebook. Hey guys, I'm looking for the best divorce attorney. Okay? Now, warn your husband, right? That you're not looking for a divorce, you're just looking for a business contact. Right, but people, if they're very like in love with these people, and that's like a profession, guys, that people either love or hate their divorce attorney, right? And so you will want to know based on what people say. Accountants, same thing, it's love or hate, right? And so you will find out if they're willing to post on your page, chances are they would be that same way for you, and you should put them in what category?
I have raving fans.
No, what category?
Raving fans.
What list of people in your top 50?
Raving fans.
Nope,
Promoters.
Influencers.
Oh.
Right? Influencers. Right? You cannot categorize them as any of these until they've referred you business.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Right? So right now we're doing, so this is good, I'm glad we clarified. Okay? So we would put them in the influencers list. Right, but you're going to test who other people's promoters are. I just want you to know, right? Because you're marketing to this 150 people right now at the very beginning the way you always market to them. When they're not in a category that's referring you business, right, they're just in this category. Okay, does that make sense? So in a database, guys, you will have a marketing list, right, which is this 150 people, and then you will have a gifting and a communication list. Right, and that's based on how people refer you. Okay, does that all make sense? I just really want to hammer that in.
That makes sense. Thanks for clarifying.
Cool.
I wasn't following.
No, good. Now the next list, guys, and this is where 60% of your clients are going to land, is in a passive category. Okay, so passive means that they're neutral about your services. Okay, 60% of the population is like this. You're probably like this too. I hate to say this, but like, we don't give reviews online, even if it was an amazing dinner, right? Like, we're just, you overhear the conversation, but you're too lazy to interject, right? That happens to me. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't want to talk to them. Right, so these things happen, right? So just know that it's hard. Now, you will have met people in an open house. You love them, you have the best conversation with them ever in the entire world, and then all of a sudden they ghost you. Right? That's a passive person, right? Now, the trouble with passive people is that if you're not constantly in front of them, if you're not constantly getting them to the next step, if you don't have a constant stream of communication, they will go elsewhere, right? Especially if they come into contact with a promoter or a raving fan, right? Now, the last person here are detractors. So these are people that you have made upset, okay, or that you don't want to work with again. Now, it's super, 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 super important that you pay attention to this category, right? I know lots of businesses that don't pay attention to this category and then they worry about it later on because business is so, awesome right now, right? That they don't pay attention to the people that they've made upset. One of the best things that I have ever done for my business is pay attention to people I've made upset, okay? So it is not a perfect system. Getting a mortgage sucks. It's like 15 people involved in the most personal details of your life, right? And so if I'm not very aware of how we make people feel at the end, they'll feel violated, straight up. Okay, so for me, I pay very close attention to that, and if I've made somebody upset, I have them on an I'm sorry campaign for a year. Okay, because what's super important, guys, is that you don't have people talking crap about your business. Because as raving fans will be so excited to talk about you, the second you piss somebody off and they're a detractor, so there are people who, right, it doesn't matter, right, if so-and-so is putting on my wall how amazing I am. If I've pissed somebody else off, they're going to go and comment, she sucked, right?
What if it's someone you don't necessarily want to work with again?
I love on people no matter what. If they were unhappy with my services, I love on them. I just might not call them ever again. Does that make sense? But they'll get the birthday cupcakes and they'll, get the HomeBot service and they'll, I'm still going to love on them. I'll tell you this, guys. I have converted most of the people that we've ever upset back, right? Because for me, it's so much more important to have people that are just such good fans of your business, right? It's impossible to think that you're going to give a perfect service every single time. And if that's your expectation of yourself, I just want you to know it's impossible, right? It's just impossible. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm actually saying that to be real. So you want to pay attention to that list. Now, I'm not saying that if, let's say, you had like your cousin, you don't like her, she's never done business with you, like you don't have to put her in your database. That's somebody not even to have in this. This is about people that have done business with you and it didn't go the right way. Okay? Like,
Not to go crazy in the weeds, but what if you've had, like we were just talking about, I had a client that I would never work with again. He was absolutely abusive. I would never want to. Do you say I'm sorry to those people? And I really got him a really super good deal. I will say, got him a great deal. Was there every step of the way. But he was just completely what I call a chronic malcontent. Nothing could make him happy. So I don't know that I want to bark up that tree. Or do you find it's worth barking up that tree?
I find it's worth barking up the tree.
I was going to say, I had one, he literally made me cry, and I don't cry very often. And now he's a raving fan and sends me all kinds of people, even though I hated his guts. Because he made me cry.
The thing is that there's always, okay, on the communication scale, guys, there's people who are non-communicative, and then there's psychos. Right? Like, that's just how it rolls, right? That's the spectrum. Okay? I find that the more hysterical a client is, the easier it is to convert them if you hear them out. Okay? So I don't always agree with everyone, but I hear everybody out. Right? So I'm the one that says, you know what? Just so you know, my intention was to do the very best for you. Okay? I really worked hard, and obviously, like, we're not judged by our intentions, we're judged by the results. Can you tell me what went wrong here? I'm just going to sit quiet and I'm just going to take a bunch of notes, but just so you know, I'm really sorry. That's how it always goes. You can tell I've given it quite a chance. Right? Right? And I just listen to them, I write it. But let me tell you this, I've never had one psycho, this is the truth, who didn't have an element of truth about something I could change. Okay? So I am the kind of person that just wants all the loans, right? So I'm willing to accept feedback from anyone, right? I don't personalize their delivery, right? I'm like, his hysteria doesn't take away from my self-value. It used to for a long time. Okay, but when all your secrets are out in public, like, you kind of lose some of that sensitivity. So just so you guys know, like, that's how the range is going to be. But yes, 100% I would deal with those people. Okay? Now, does anyone have any questions on this? Okay? Now, I do normally get a question about what people do with prospective people, right? So people that wouldn't necessarily qualify. Again, you're just going to add them to this marketing list, okay? Now, one strategy, though, you could do, right, is that you could have a separate list for potential whales or potential, like I call them waterfall accounts, because, like, if you think of a glass, right, if the glass is overflowing, what does it do? It spills over, right? So that's kind of, in my mind, how I classify those people. But those are the people that can maybe influence other people, like maybe they're the head of a company or whatever. So you can have its own category. I personally have a category of potential waterfall accounts, and then just in general waterfall accounts. People call them channel accounts. They call them all kinds of things, okay? So those are categories that would probably come later on in business, right? But write them down just as a side note, okay? Alright, any questions? We're good on that? Okay.
You could have a raving fan though that maybe hasn't done business with you, right? I mean, like I have an aunt who will refer me out, and I've gotten business because of her. So she's like a raving fan,
Yeah, but
she's.
But that's business, kind of, if you think about it, right? Like you have a business relationship. She's going and giving you clients.
Yeah.
And does she use a different realtor for her business?
No, she's not. I mean, she's not going anywhere. She doesn't have a need for a realtor yet. She'll use me, obviously, when.
There you go, right? But I would consider that a business relationship.
Okay.
Right? So that's a really great clarification. If they're sending you referrals, you already know how they would refer you.
Right. Okay.
Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. So my next suggestion, guys, is that you are going to need this list in wherever you gather your contacts. And then I would also like for you to create a separate list on Facebook for each of these same exact categories. Okay? Now, you'll write this down. Just go ahead and Google directions for a friend list. Facebook has some of the best step-by-step directions, right, on how to create a friends list. And make sure that you underline list, right, because I don't want you to get it confused with groups and be like, these are my B clients, you know, and then they see,
Oh my God.
this is my passive clients, right? Okay, cool. One other trick that you can use is that you can sync your contacts up with Facebook. If you go to friends, you can go to the upload contacts. I've given you instructions for how to do that. It tells you which contacts in your phone you're not currently friends with. It will not automatically sync everyone up, so don't panic, right? If you don't want to be friends with your cousin's girlfriend, right? Don't worry, you don't have to friend them, okay? All right, so couple of key things, right, that you can do also with Facebook, right? And so these are some lists, right, that you'll get. I would also create a list for likely to move categories. Okay? Now, a likely to move category is any kind of life change. You'll want to pay attention to them. I like to shoot people DMs if they're a VIP, like raving fan client or a promoter of mine. I'll probably send them a gift, okay? So these are your engagements, your baby announcements. These are deaths of family. These are promotions, retirements, anything that could create a move, okay? I find that when you're developing a deep relationship, if you care about people's life events, you are top of mind when they decide to move. Now, it is not immediate, right? Somebody gets pregnant, they're not thinking until maybe 6 months down the line that, hey, maybe this house isn't the right one. Or like me, I had my baby in the wrong house, and 6 months later I was like, I need to get the hell out of here. So it just happened. So it might be right away, it could be a year after the fact, it could be a year and a half, but you'll pay attention and you'll be engaged in their life event. They'll feel great about you, okay? Right, so
what happens if you do all that and then they use another agent?
okay. I would just straight up ask.
Okay.
The thing is, because here's the deal, right? Is that sometimes you engage on people in a very social way, right? And then if they're not in your database where you're constantly providing value about real estate, they'll forget. Do you know what I mean? So with this, I have a very strong mortgage presence, right? So I constantly have clients posting about testimonials. I give a money tip Monday, right? Twice a month, that money tip Monday is about straight up buying a house. Do you know what I mean? So they couldn't miss the message, right, if they were trying to. Now, if it's somebody that I really felt wasn't going to use me, I've had friends from college not use me. I've just been like, hey, what happened here? Just out of curiosity, I'm always trying to get better at my business. Why didn't you use me? And a lot of times it's, one client used a doctor loan program and didn't realize that I had doctor loans because I don't market it. Okay, another one didn't want me to know her financials. She was like, but for sure I'd refer you. It happens. So it happens less though. I find that if you have a really good strategy with talking about your craft, providing solutions, and then giving gifts. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. All right, so I do that. I also create a Facebook list for any groups of people that I know I have something, very much in common. So I'm from Nogales, Arizona. So if you're from Nogales, we're going to do business. Okay, so like, it's just a very small town. If you live there, you get it, right? You have lots of things in common. If I ever do like Nogales only events, I just want to be able to attack those people. Also, like, my sorority in college is another group that I created. I was in a photography moms group for a long time. You know, that actually was one of the best referral groups I was ever in, right? Because we had something mutually in common, and we're like, the relationships were real, right? I clearly have no more time to take photos of my children, so it's not as good as it once was. But just know, the more that you can engage with people, the better, okay? And this is like where the stalking comes into place, right? Because you are going to be paying attention. I usually spend about 2 hours a day, right, engaging with people's content, categorizing them into lists, wishing them a happy birthday. Okay? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. This is a new notebook, so hold on 2 seconds while I look ahead, because I might want to still talk about something with Facebook really quick. Cool, so I'm still going to talk about Facebook really quick. So one of the things that, let me get a link to add this, is one of the things that you should be doing is sending a DM through Facebook if you don't have people's contact information on their birthday. And you'll want to use a script that you use over the phone, right? Otherwise, I want you to call me. But if you do not have their phone number, I want you to send them a message that says, you know, happy birthday. I hope that you're having the most spectacular celebration. You know, what, you know, are you hoping that this new year will bring for you? I'd love to be able to help you accomplish your dream, right? Like, that should be your message, right? Like, you should send something that's very unique, not a happy birthday, right? Like, remind people why they like you and know you, right? Really engage in them. On people's birthdays, though, is a really good time, like I said, to extract information from Facebook. But if you don't have their phone number and there's somebody like I did this with somebody else the other day where we went through, and one of the guys, like, in his about me says, I have a passion for real estate investment. I was like, girl, reach out to him and be like, oh my God, we have mutual interests. I love real estate. Oh my God, you know, I'd love to help you find a property for your birthday, right? Like, just silly stuff, right? But the cool thing is, she found out that that guy has a passion in real estate. Is she going to follow him? Okay, so a couple things that you can do for people that might be potential people, right, for you, is that Facebook allows a see first category, right? So write that down in your newsfeed. You can prioritize your newsfeed. These important people that you're really wanting to develop relationships with, you should put them in your see first category, so that way when they post, they're the first ones that you can see what all their life events are or what important things are to them. Okay? Does that make sense? Cool. Hey, Sammy, will you, on this page, remind me to add that to our notebook? Okay. Awesome. So we briefly talked about the letter of the heart when I was telling you about Facebook strategies. This is also an important piece to get out in mail. Okay? So not every single person will see your social media profiles. If you are very good at social media, 12% of your people see your stuff, which is why you have to constantly post, okay? So if you're one of those, like, I post once a month people, no one's seeing your stuff, okay? So you have to constantly post, but if you have people's addresses, you can send them a personalized piece to their, like, to their house. And I don't know about you, but I love personal mail. Like, I get excited when I, like, have a whole bunch of bills and annoying things, and then I get, like, a Christmas card or a birthday card. I'm like, woo! Like, who's getting married? You know, like, I just get so excited for personal mail. And I know I'm not the only one. Okay, so you guys should send this out, right? I am getting ready to send mine out. I'm a little bit behind schedule, but it will be available in the Think Tank Mastermind if you're part of that. So I'm going to post mine in there. I, like, post all of my current marketing strategies in that group. But this is an example of a letter of the heart from a very popular coaching program. I'm not a super fan of that discount coupon, but it is something that does work really well. There's a whole coaching program centered around this idea, so I don't want to knock it. I just want to give you an example. But I love some of the verbiage in this, right? Especially if, I could kick myself for losing touch. That's me. that I just put my own flair on this, right? But like it's an easy way to start, right? But the verbiage is really, really good. We lost touch to the most important people in our business, you, right? Or I would love to be in touch with the most important people in my business, you, right? Again, with this strategy, I always find that when you share pain or experience, it's exponential the results. If you go very surface level, right, you'll get surface level results. Okay, so for me, my new letter of the heart is going to be about all the things I learned in the recession and how crazy the news is lately, and just how this is a time for opportunity versus fear, and just a couple of things that I've learned, having lived through the last one and working in the last one, right, and just giving my experience, right. But I lived off $10 a week, guys, for food. I was like ramen noodle princess. Like I had lots of recipes. The zombie apocalypse, come to me. But the thing is that's so nuts about that is that it's a very real experience, right? And what you really take from it, and then sharing that experience is helpful. 2 years ago, I did one on, I was just going through like a really weird period mentally with my business and shifting. And I talked about a time when my daughter like broke her glasses, like one of the lens popped out. And she was like hysterically crying, and then my other daughter put on the glasses and started going, "Arg!" Like, "Ahoy, baby!" And we all started laughing, and she's like, she thought it was an eye patch, and she was now a pirate. And I talked about how sometimes the biggest challenges are really adventures depending on your attitude, right? And just about how that. So I like share personal stories. That one was really cool because we ended up designing a t-shirt called Pirate Every Day, and we gave them out to all of our clients, right? It's still like a fan favorite, right? So you can do really fun things with the letter of the heart that are very engaging, so long as you're willing to share things that are not so perfect in your world, okay?
Yours last year was really good.
Yes, what did I did a video.
Yeah.
I did. So last year I changed it up. I did a video. I'll probably do a little bit of both. Last year I just read it because I didn't get it in the mail in time. So there's that. But my husband almost died last year, right? And sometimes they're not always bad, guys. I've written like great things. I wrote about when I got married, what it was like to become a mom for the first time. Like I share all different things. But last year my husband almost died. I actually have that video online that you can see on my YouTube channel, right? And I just read the letter and just talked about how awkward it's been, how I didn't really want to post on social media, all of these different things that happened. But it was real, and I just wanted to be honest for why I had been kind of MIA. Okay, so thanks for watching. Appreciate it, girl. Okay, cool. So this is just a really good example framework. I would definitely be way more personal with this. Okay, does anyone have a question about that? I normally send out a letter of the heart twice a year, okay? So just, I send one out on the anniversary of when I got fired, right? Because that's when I started my company, and then I send one out in October. So like mid-year, and so like March, April, and then October, okay? All right, how many of you guys like events? Like parties? Okay, all right, not enough of you guys, that should be everyone. Okay. Inviting people to an event is super important, especially with database, because a lot of you will go, well, I don't know what to say after the second conversation, right? So inviting them to an event is really huge, okay? Especially if you happen to be a promoter, okay? So inviting them to a happy hour that you're going to, inviting them to, a divorce clinic, right? Or inviting them to a social media class, hosting a class, housewarming parties, whatever. If you can be the center of an event that you host, you will always have a reason to call somebody, and you can get 7 touches, right, client contacts out of one event. Isn't that gnarly? Mm-hmm. 7 contacts, okay? So here's how this goes, right? So the very first thing I do, guys, whenever I'm going to host an event, I want like 8 weeks leeway, unless it's just a happy hour or lunch, okay? But I'll have 8 weeks of marketing time. The first thing I do is send a save the date. Okay? Right? The next thing I do is let a phone call know that, hey, I'm having the event. I'd really love for them to come. Right? This is kind of out of order. I normally send the save the date first and then do the phone call. Then we'll do a happy hour reminder, right? So a reminder of the event. Then we'll either call or text message them to remind them to RSVP, right? Then we'll do a know before you go for the event, just giving them more details about what's to come. And then touch 6 is we'll post photos with them at the event. And then touch 7 is we'll send them a post after, right? So we'll write them a note saying thank you so much for coming. Now a couple of pro tips here. If you post on people's Facebook wall, so like you post the photo and tag them to it, okay, wait 1 day and then comment underneath it. Okay, here's why. People, like Facebook algorithm reads how long something's important for. So if you post it, you're naturally going to get engagement. If you wait 24 hours and then post a comment, you'll get engagement again. Okay, so we are just trying to extend the amount of exposure for that post. Okay, so I just want you to know, like, try to keep it that way. The other thing that you can do too is you can, if you're good at like slideshows, you can create a slideshow video and thank every single person for coming after the event. Just write a personal email, right? It's very helpful. It gives social credit, especially if you put it on social media, right? That you're somebody that's engaged, as an influencer, right? People like to come to your events. Okay? It gives people a FOMO. Okay? Right? Okay, does that make sense? You can apply this strategy to anything.
Do you ever, like, you brought up the Facebook algorithm, do you ever go back, like, 6 months later when you're about to do another event that you've invited them to and say, remember how much fun we had here, are you coming to my next one? Or do you start completely over, like, with the new event, with the touches?
It depends, right?
Okay.
So, like, it depends, right? So last year when we have our Love Rocks event, so this is just a client event, I'll post like the invitation as a video from the previous years with just stuff, just saying like we can't wait, you know, it's gonna be even bigger and better, you know, that kind of thing. But again, that's part of the save the date. You could definitely do that. I don't think it would hurt you.
Okay.
So I think that's really good.
So if you do an event like a happy hour, you've got to have a purpose, or just happy hour. I mean, is there? I'm just gonna have happy hour and then invite you.
Hey girl, I haven't seen you in forever. Let's do happy hour. I want to introduce you to a couple friends.
Okay, I'm thinking like it's a big event where you're inviting all your past clients.
You could do that, or you could do little ones. You could literally take this approach to big and small events. A big event like you're talking about is a client appreciation. Hey, I'm just appreciating all the people that love and send me business. Oh, I haven't sent you business yet, but you're going to. That's what I say to people who I invite.
I love it.
Okay, right? So you can make it big or small. The one thing that is difficult with this, if you are going to if it's going to be really small and intimate, it's probably weird to be like, you know, you have to be strategic with how you post on that, right? Like people have to be comfortable taking a happy hour. You probably just post it that night and just kind of leave it at that. Probably be half the touches. Also with business lunches, right? I would highly encourage you to invite multiple people to your business lunches, right? So that way you can see a lot of people versus just seeing one. You know, sometimes like it's very difficult, like leverage wise, to just have a lunch every single day, because then you have to have a lunch and a coffee every day. Like if you could at least get 2 people in a lunch meeting together, right? 1, you're providing value by introducing that person to another person, and then 2, like you get to go deep with 2 people at the same time. When you feed somebody, guys, there's actually something that happens chemically with trust, and this is a true thing.
It's a statistic,
Yeah. So if you feed somebody and you take care of them, you actually break that barrier of trust down, right? So because you've taken care of them and fed them, right, your relationship's already deeper. Okay? So how many people to a business lunch? 2. Okay, at least 2. Good job. Yay. Awesome. All right. So housewarming parties and client appreciations and charity events, okay? So you do not have to spend money when it comes to organizing events. You can actually do some for free. We are getting ready to do our first ones of the year. We do a Friday give back, right? So we call it Give Back Friday. We invite people to go down to St. Mary's Food Bank and pack boxes with us of food. Okay, they play music, there's trivia. I'm extremely good at trivia.
And humble.
I'm extremely good at trivia. Let me tell you. Sammy, were you there when I won against that? There was one. I'm like, I'm so competitive. Anyway, it's like so funny. And they have you go against other companies. It's very fun. People love to go back. We do it once a month. It costs us nothing. Okay?
Except to feed my starving children.
No, this is St.
That one's
Mary's.
hardcore.
I know.
That one, people are sweating.
You guys, I love it. But
I like that one because it's competitive.
honestly, whatever's gonna make you do it, right? But so it's super fun, right? And it's something that you can do, and it's for free. All you have to do is be the organizer. Truth be told, that's how Chris and I do business together. He showed up to our Give Back Fridays and put in some like labor, right? So not only is he amazing at marketing, he literally will come and do the hard work with you.
Not to mention other people benefit. Like it's for charity. Like
Absolutely.
everyone's winning.
Yeah, but that's why. You won me over packing those boxes. Okay. So another thing is too, guys, you just have to be the organizer. You don't have to pay for all of the housewarming parties. Okay? So like I've had some of you are like, okay, we're gonna get this professionally catered and then it's like a $2,000 housewarming party. Okay? Just offer to bring something to the housewarming party. Hey, I'd love to help you. I can send out invitations. I can coordinate the neighbors for you. And I'd love to bring my sandwiches. Okay? Or I'd love to donate the waters. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to pay for everything. Okay? Because otherwise, if you have 3 closings a month, you're paying $3,000 in housewarming parties. Doesn't sound like a good ROI. Okay? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
A housewarming party should not cost more than $200. Okay? I do them all the time. I just want to give you a reference point because sometimes it sounds like all of these things just keep adding up, right? They can if you don't do it right, okay? Okay, and then client appreciation parties, same deal, guys. You can do a movie event, you can do a movie in the park event, you can do, I actually just throw our Love Rocks event in the courtyard of our office. The location is free, I get cookies, I get a waffle truck, right? That event costs us $2,000. Okay, and I have like a food truck, I have a cookie station, I have a magician, I have a face painter, right? It's not, and we get Valentine's decorations every year from the dollar store, right? So I promise you, you don't have to like spend a ton of money on these things. Okay. All right, does anyone have questions about that? Again, you can use that same touch with this, right? And I would use her like suggestion of promoting your previous events to promote the next one. Okay, now, this is probably the most difficult thing that most people will do, and it's like, you guys can organize the list, you can send the DMs, you can invite people in a happy hour, all of those things are very passive activities. The most challenging thing that I find for people to do is actually make phone calls. Okay? Yes or no? Be honest.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, it's primarily because people don't know what to say. A couple of really easy ways of just getting over that is call with purpose. Okay? So if you are calling for a business reason, just say, hey, I'm making a business call. Just get the elephant out of the room. Just don't be all weird and be like, hey, what are you doing? Let me tell you about my real estate business. Right? Just go, hey, I'm making a business call. I don't know if you've known, but I made the move into real estate. I'd love it to be somebody that you would consider, right, either as a referral person or your own personal agent. What would I have to do to earn your business? Right, I'm taking suggestions, I'm building my business right now. I want to know what you would need and what kind of value you'd like for me to provide to you. Okay? One, it takes the pressure away of asking for referrals right there and then. Okay? And they're telling you what they need for you to help them. Okay? I do this a lot with real estate agents. Right? And let me tell you, you guys are the hardest people in the world to get referrals from. Okay? And it's because people hit you up all the time. So just know that people will not feel the same way that you feel about it. Okay? Like you guys are literally woodpeckered to death with lenders calling you for deals. Yes or no?
Lenders, title, everyone.
Everyone, right? Just want a piece of you. Okay? Right? It just happens. Okay? But the regular people in the world, they don't feel that way. Okay, and so if you called them and said, what would it take for me to earn your business? They're going to be like, okay, well, this is what I'd like to see. Or actually, so-and-so, my work is interested in buying a home. Okay? It's very simple. Okay? But just tell them right up front that you're making a business phone call. Okay? The next thing is, guys, it's very easy to have a conversation that says, hey, tell me, how's the family? Any big plans for the weekend? Right? How's the job going? Right? Is there any big things that are coming up that I can help you with? Right? I know the holidays are right around the corner. Is there anything that I can do for you? If it is somebody's birthday, which I find it to be the easiest day of the year to make a phone call, hey, what'd you wish for this year? Oh my God, I'd love to help you with that. Okay? And then you can follow it up with a gift. Every conversation that you have, 100% of conversations you have, write this down, this is a nugget. You should get homework, right? You should not leave that conversation unless you know how you can help them, okay? Because it makes every single conversation after that about what you're doing for them. Okay? Hey, you mentioned to me that you wanted to go to that trip to Ireland. Oh my God, I found the most amazing trip guide. I have to send it to you. What's your address? Okay? How was the trip to Ireland, right? Do you see how this goes?
So that's how I stalk people on Facebook. And if they put something personal on there, then I will actually, if I have their number, I'll text them and say, hey, can I give you a call? And then I ask them, like, how's it going? Or, you know, if they've been diagnosed with something, and then that way you're actually talking to them, but you have a reason to call because, hey, you know, I actually saw your post, wanted to see how you're doing, and then they just open up. And it's a lot better than like a direct message because they're kind of like, well, why are you asking me how I'm doing? You know, like, I mean, it just seems a little bit more like, hey, I just wanted to give you a call and I saw your post, and I didn't want to, you know, because a lot of people now are like, yes, I post something, but then I don't want 60 million different conversations going on, you know, so you just call them, and it seems to work out that better. Then I can say, hey, you know what, I want to send you, you know, get more information out of them. But if you see something on Facebook, then just call them and they love it.
Totally. So I either make a direct business conversation or I make a relationship building conversation. In relationship building conversations, I do not mention my business unless they bring it up. Okay? I do enough promoting online where I don't have to pimp myself out at every second. Okay? Especially because it's awkward if they're telling you something terrible and you're like, well, I could sell your mom's house. I know she just passed. Right? I'm just saying. Right? So you just have to just remember these things. Honestly, I've heard some pretty brutal conversations that also still work. Okay? So one of the best stories that I ever have about this, though, one of my best referral partners, we were doing a transaction together, and she mentioned to me that she was going to elope in Vegas and that they spent all their wedding money going to Thailand. So I knew I wanted to do business with her. And I paid attention, and I knew when the close of escrow had to be because she was going to leave to go to Thailand, okay? So I Googled things that you need but don't want to buy when you're going to Thailand. And it was like a portable fan, bug spray, a net, and like a travel guide. I got the best travel guide. I sent them all to her in an Amazon overnight thing. I was like, I forgot what I put. I was like, to keep off all the other lenders, but seriously, you're going to need this in Thailand. Right? Right? It was like super funny. She's actually, one, she's become one of my best friends, but two, that relationship started because I listened to her and actually went to go do something that she, who wants to buy bug spray for their vacation? No one. Right? Or one of those weird portable fans. And the funny thing is, they told me they used all of it, and the book that I gave them, the travel guide, was better than the one they bought themselves.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So just know that when you do those things, they leave lasting impressions for years. Okay? Do you think that another lender is going to be able to take apart our bond? It'd be very hard. I'd really have to screw up.
Screw more than once.
Right? That's just, so those are just those things that you guys need to know. You can go so deep. Okay? Last thing I will say, guys, gifts are a universal love language in any business. Get a good gifting program. Okay? Now, Respa's going to say you can't have a referral gifting program, so we're just going to call it a birthday program and a special events program. Right? But if you teach people how you reward them, right, for loving on you, for referrals and supporting your business, you will train people, right, to refer your business. I can't even tell you how many times I'm referred with, she's amazing and she'll send you birthday cupcakes.
I love it.
You love the birthday cupcakes, right? I mean, they're awesome. I was in a presentation this morning, and that's what the lady said before she gave me a testimonial. And she sends birthday cupcakes, right? So I will tell you that if you put yourself on something, people will know how to refer you. I can't even tell you how many times that's been like the tipping point, right? People love those things. Okay, so get a really, really good referral birthday program, special events.
Here's one I just have to share really quick because I thought it was awesome, and I'm going to post it because I didn't think about it. I always say to when your happy anniversary on your house, happy anniversary, and I always include a gift card and business cards saying, your referrals just mean the most. And one of my clients is now driving Uber, and he sent me a picture of my business card right in his car. And he's like, you bet, everywhere I go, I'm telling everyone about you. And I said, that's why I love you. Can I tell you that's why I love you? So yeah, and I said, I'll let people know about you that you're Uber driving. So he's literally, I'm like, dude, I have that picture right in my phone from this week. I'm totally going to post it and say thanks. But yeah, that was like, wow, that was nice.
And it means the world to you.
Yeah, it does. It means everything. I mean, it's just the thought of him doing that. And I know that he will, because he's a talker.
I know, and it's awesome, right? I mean, this is the thing, guys. Like, if you make a lasting impression and give people things, the better. One challenge about gift cards, and I love that you're doing something, is that I try not to do things that have a actual monetary value, right? Because people will then go, well, I sent you a $500,000 referral. Right?
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, it's cupcakes, you get a dozen cupcakes, so that's actually why I stopped sending gift cards, is because then people started attaching a monetary value to the gifts. And I also celebrate birthdays because they have nothing to do with the transaction, and it reminds people that like I still care about them outside of the transaction. So you might want to also just consider like, maybe there's like a value add, like hey, I'm calling you on your 1 year anniversary. You'll probably need to update your warranty. You'll probably do that, but then maybe do like a different gift later on, or like a sign, or like a month after the fact, which I also think is great. The transaction's closed. It's a month after the fact, drop in after they've moved in, right, and give them their gift. Okay, a couple things happen there. One, they're not getting distracted with their home move. And two, like, who likes to lug a big gift basket along with all their other stuff they have to move with? I actually learned that from polling my clients. They're like, no more gift baskets. I was like, oh, isn't that crazy? Because you think you're like being all nice, and they're like, just one more thing to move. Okay, so if you do it a month after the fact, though, different story.
I do it when they say, let me know when you're moving into your new house, and I'll stop by.
But maybe just stop by a month afterwards. Just, hey, I'm coming by. Hey, I'm in your neighborhood showing properties. Would love to see what you've done with the place. Okay? And then, oh, by the way, we should throw a housewarming party. This place looks great. Let's invite all the neighbors and your friends and family. I'll coordinate the whole thing.
That's good.
I bet you could pull that off.
I could totally do it.
You could totally do it.
Totally done it.
Oh my God, do we love her? Yeah. Okay, cool. Did any of you guys have any questions about this? Okay. Do any of you guys want more detailed information? If you do, you should follow me on the Think Tank Mastermind. That's actually where I talk about these strategies in more depth and give you guys all the different things that we're going through. Can I ask you guys one last question because we have 2 minutes left? Did you get value from the class today? Raise your hand.
So much.
Okay, so if you got value from the class today, I want you to know I am not a motivational speaker. I am a licensed loan officer. I would love your referrals. Thank you guys so much.
Good job.
Yeah. Yay!